Hey guys, it's Mallard with another stamp video, and today I have a special video from the stamp show that took place up here in Chicago. It was with my buddies Michael and Charles, and they run a YouTube channel called Conversations with Philatelist. They do a good job there, and they wanted to share with me a few of the stamps that they thought were interesting that they had on hand at the stamp show. Keep watching to see what they show me. Hey guys, it's Mallard with another stamp video, and today I'm happy to introduce my friends Charles and Michael, and they are going to be showing you guys some stamps. But first I want to know, who do you guys work for, and those kind of details before we get into the stamps. Go
Awesome.
for it.
Yeah, so my name is Michael Cortese. I work for Noble Spirit. I co-own it with my father. We've been in business 40 years now, on eBay 23 years. We've got a staff of about 15 people, and we sell 99-cent no reserve auctions. This is our booth here at Great American Stamp Show 2021, and yeah, it's been a great show so far.
And I'm Charles Epting. I work for H.R. Harmer Fine Stamp Auctions in Midtown Manhattan. One of the older stamp auction houses in the country, founded in 1940. Sort of our claim to fame, we sold Franklin Roosevelt's collection in 1946. So a great brand, great history that I'm very proud to be a part of. We were located in Southern California, moved back to New York about 2 years ago. I moved with the company. So I've been doing this for about 5 years full time now. Not as long as Michael and his family, but just having a lot of fun with it and very glad to be here in Chicago. So
Awesome.
Michael, why don't you kick things off?
Yeah, so we picked out two items here to just talk about real quick. Everybody knows the C3A, the inverted Jenny. We've got some regular C3s, blocks here, but they're fast flying planes. So we thought we'd talk a little bit about, everybody knows you've got the vignette shifts on the C3A, where it's the upside down plane, but not many people realize that the vignette shifts can shift itself in the printing in different areas as well. So here we've got a fast flying plane. This is a line block here. So through the center, not a center line itself, but just a line block. And the plane is not quite on center. It's a little fast, not as fast as this one here, where it's actually touching the outer design of the stamp. So in printing the middle, not like the C3A where it's flipped entirely, they just put it off center.
So we don't think about this much today, but
Right.
they actually had to pass the piece of paper, the sheet through the printing press twice.
Yes.
The red and the blue were printed separately, and if it was not they're printing thousands of sheets of it. I don't remember the print run, but they're doing so many of them. If it's misaligned by a millimeter or two, that will throw off the entire production process, which is how you're left with things like
People
this.
pay more for these when they're touching the design. There's the fast flying plane, there's the high flying plane, there's the grounded plane where it's touching the cents and the 24. And the bigger error there is, the larger shift in vignette, the more people are willing to pay. So this is a block. They typically go for 3 times what a normal C3 would go for.
It's funny with a lot, and I'm going to call these modern stamps. 1918 in the grand scheme of things is fairly modern.
Yeah.
But with more modern stamps, you kind of have to count on the post office having messed up for something to be valuable. So again, the most obvious is the inverted Jenny, but a regular C3 is a good stamp in never hinge condition. But you get that plane shifted up, down, sideways, and it does increase the value quite a bit. So those are great items you've got there, Michael.
Yeah.
My turn?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have any covers with me currently because the way our business works, we have about 4 auctions a year. So we're in the middle of preparing for our September auctions. As soon as we get home from Chicago on Sunday night, I'm swamped for the next couple of weeks preparing auction catalogs. But I do have a brochure with a couple of things. This is a postal history collection that was assembled in Chicago over the course of about 50 years. So from about the 1950s all the way throughout the back half of the 20th century. What he loved to collect most of all are fancy cancels, which selfishly I love because the market for fancy cancels has been crazy lately. I'll show you the back cover in a second. But basically, postmasters in the 1860s, 1870s it could be quite a boring job, especially if you're in a small town. If you're in Rutland, Vermont, or Carmel, New York, you maybe get a rush in the morning, rush after work, but you're sitting there all day, bored out of your mind, mailing little things here and there. So a lot of times the postmaster would take a piece of cork, a piece of lead, and whittle a design into it. And whether it was patriotic or if the circus was coming to town or just something they liked. These are really pieces of American folk art. These are really tiny works of art from the 1860s that are now
incredibly collectible. We had an interview. What I love about this brochure right here, we did an interview with Karl Rove, and you showed him this cover,
and he wanted to buy it.
He freaked
mid-interview.
Mid-interview.
So a lot of these things are rare, though. If you're dealing with cork or any other type of wood, it's very brittle. It can break easily after just a couple of strikes. Maybe he used it for half a day. So this one from Rutland, Vermont, it spells out bully, which was a patriotic word during the Civil War. Bully was like a call to action for the North. So the postmaster of Rutland, Vermont, obviously very patriotic, BULLY exclamation in the cancel. But what's fascinating about this was sent May 26th. There's a cover from May 27th that does not have the bully cancel. So that tells you that somewhere between the 26th and 27th, something happened to this device. It broke, it got worn down, and he couldn't use it anymore. So it was in use for less than a day. The one on top that Michael mentioned, Hayes and Wheeler were running for president in 1876. This is August. This is a couple of months before Election Day. The postmaster of Carmel, New York, supported the Republican ticket and decided to promote them through his postmark. And the only way I can contextualize this, imagine the scandal if a postmaster today was like, you know what, on every envelope that goes out today,
right,
I'm going to promote Biden, Harris, or Trump, Pence. Would be all over the news. They would lose their job immediately. A postmaster using mail to promote political candidates is so far-fetched.
It's unheard of.
It is unheard of, and yet in 1876, the postmaster of Carmel, New York, was like, this is a great idea. I'm going to, force my political opinion down people's throats. So this is the only known example of this postmark on cover. Maybe he sent others that day. Maybe people threw them out because they didn't think it was going to be worth tens of thousands of dollars in years. But that's a wonderful cover. That's the only one known. Just a few other quick ones inside, if that's all right. Chicago, Illinois. That's a pool table. Don't know the story. Nobody knows the story behind that one. But it's a pool table from Chicago. Another Hayes cancellation. This one from February of 1877, so after the election. It was more of a celebration of the inauguration, which makes it marginally more okay, I guess, than during an election. Maybe the weirdest fancy cancel of all time, Brattleboro, Vermont. That is a leg inside of a fancy design. And I didn't know any of this, but the gentleman I was working with on this collection goes, that's Benedict Arnold's leg. I was like, Benedict Arnold, the traitor, the Revolutionary War traitor. Like, why is his leg on it? Apparently, the Battle of Saratoga, while he was still a patriot before he turned, he was shot in the leg and continued to fight on. And at the battlefield in Saratoga to this day, there is a monument to Benedict Arnold's leg. And it doesn't say Benedict Arnold on it because he's the most famous traitor in history.
Right.
But that is Benedict Arnold's leg on a cancellation for whatever reason. I don't know what the postmaster of Brattleboro, Vermont was thinking, but he made a real heck of a cover. It's a gorgeous cover. So what I'll wrap up with, things that we've sold recently, just to show you what the fancy cancel market is like. This is the all-seeing eye of Mitteneag, Massachusetts. There's other strikes of that cancellation on stamps off cover. This is the only one on a complete cover. And as you can see, that must have been the first strike he made with it. That was right after he carved this thing. He was probably a Freemason. A lot of Freemasons were postmasters, and they created things like this. I'm not going to lie. I had every expectation that this cover would sell for $30,000 to $40,000.
Yeah.
I started it at $10,000. Shows you what I know. It sold for $145,000. With the buyer's premium, I think it was $171,000, which even people in the room were like nervously laughing about how crazy it was. So this is part of what we do. We do sell worldwide and foreign and whatnot, but U.S. postal history and especially fancy cancels has been a lot of fun for us. So that's what we're working on. As soon as I'm back in the office Monday, I've got to bury myself in this again for a couple of weeks so that we can get that catalog out.
Get back to the grind.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for sharing the stamps. Thank you for being here at the Stamp Show in Chicago. Definitely be on the lookout for the YouTube channel. What's your YouTube channel?
Conversations with Philatelists. We started it last year during the pandemic. Conversations with Philatelists has a website, philatelypodcast.com.
Philatelypodcast@gmail.com.
If you want to reach out to us, and we really appreciate you talking with us, and can't wait to do more with you in the future.
To meet you.
Awesome. Well, good to see you guys, and I'm going to keep rolling around the Stamp Show.
Enjoy.
All right.